G'day. That was the coolest game as kids, with Mum playing shadow hand puppets against the ceiling with the lamp or whatever before you went to bed. That was the coolest. I'd forgotten about that. Yes, I was about to have a bath, but I thought I'd segue into a narrative. Peter Gibson Smith. It's a sketch stain organic doodle from Peter in Christchurch. It's on a metallic background. It's quite lovely. I quite like that, Peter. Thank you very much. It was a gift from a studio when I visited. And I do that too with people. I give them gifts when they visit the studio. If I like them. If there's the spirit to do so. So, the gift of the studio, my friends. At the moment, my friends, with a bit of Brian Eno in the background. At the moment, my friends, the ghosts and memories and bones, the bones of the existential. What is it? Who are we? I'm a shipwrecked sailor. I have a story. I'm a shipwrecked sailor that got dragged down by the sirens. I smashed apart on this place called New Zealand. I don't know who I am, how I got here, and what this place is. I love Maoris that know their whakapapa and story and history. Strong, proud history. People of this land. That's a good story to know. Us people, us poor whites that crashed here and just became genetic fodder for state propaganda. Feudal lord? I don't know. That's why I say I'm shipwrecked. I'm shipwrecked here. My mother didn't teach me anything to do with my people, nor did my father. I had a grandfather that gave me a book of Greek myths once, but I didn't know him. I spent most of my life trying to figure out a lot of this stuff. The stories of who we are and where we come from and what this really is and what's the struggle about. So I figure I'm making effigies like a primitive man from a shipwreck of civilization at the end of the world. Now, admittedly, I might be a time traveller because civilization hasn't quite ended, or has it? How do you know that you're not living in a, AI generated simulator, and that you're just sort of a genetic reanimated memory? I suppose existential bones. I want to know what existential bones are, Like, how come I got raised by criminals? Like, how come they were damaged? How come, this, and I'm not saying my trauma or sensitivity is especially special, right? This is what Kiwi is, right? I'm not Dutch, I'm not Irish, I'm not English. I'm not Maori. As far as I know, the word pagan and Maori, they mean the same thing. It's person of the earth. Normal people. Person of the earth, normal people. Tangata whenua. So anyway, I use these terms. I'm not having a political rant. It's just, I feel like I live in a culture that's been taken over by globalism, by technocracy, by digital everything, by mind, by a sort of simulacra of cultural signalling. I don't know where these, I'm Generation X. I mean, were we designed to not, were we designed to not make it? Yeah. Existential bones. Even just realizing, what is actually happening to us is actually quite horrific. And what has been happening to us, I don't understand why, I don't understand why there's not a lot more mental health and depression issues around. Yeah. But I'm a shipwrecked sailor, and I'm not a doom merchant. I'm a person that talks about divinity. I'm a person that points to sovereignty of individual purpose. I'm a person that points to knowing your story, owning all of it. There is no junk DNA. Do you know what I mean? Owning all of it. I'm a person that thinks that we're interpenetrated from a timeless realm, literally timeless. I'm a person that thinks that Christ touches into this world each time a baby's born. That we've misappropriated the term Christ to someone's story, when really, that Holy Spirit is Spirit being born on this plane. And this is the humanity that, like woman, father, child, holy child, right? It's this that keeps our humanity human. And that's our link to the divine world and values, okay? in this, material transactional realm. So we can't forget that the very basis of all of this is actually a mystery and a divinity that is sourced from another world. Now, sure, I might be being a little bit romantic about the idea of a child coming into the world. I'm sure it could be very problematic and, harrowing for all concerned, and also a complete blessing. And, I'm sure there's all sorts of physiological, karmic, and social relational possibilities about childbirth, but I'm just sort of talking about the metaphysical transaction of a soul coming into a body here. Regardless of the incarnation, regardless of the cultural manifestation of that, I'm talking about the timeless realm coming into an individuated form, into a body, into a vessel, into a being, a biological wet, with a mum. It is a mum. It should be a mum. Pray it continue being a mum as opposed to a artificial womb. Hey. So I think what I'm getting at is to be in denial that this world is actually made of spirit, and that what we are is spirits unpacking, extending. We are here to flourish, we are here to build and grow, we are here to explore and fulfill heaven on earth. Heaven and earth. So why aren't we? Why aren't we? Why are we continually assailed with stories of doom, with threats, with why is there a war against us being here? Hey, you know what I mean? Surely there's enough for all of us to be here. Are these religious matters, I pose? I'm not a very good liar. Hey, I've been fasting for 7 days. So if my narrative storying is a little bit out there for some of you, that'll be because I actually haven't eaten in 7 days and I'm a little bit altered space about it all. Hey, your friend's coming tomorrow to pick this one up. I really like this one. It's not that it's a highly skilled and refined artwork, it's that it is like spirit graffiti. It's the orb is, yeah. I think it's a star walker leaving a body, a pharaonic body or an ego body. I think there's echoes of Mars in there and cosmic portals. Of course, there's cosmic portals for all of us. This actually being one, of course, you know, the mother and the last breath you have and all that stuff. The reality of the existential bones of what this is, as opposed to your career portfolio and transactional accounts, all means diddly squat. against what really matters. Some people who sing the blues have said that you gotta get right with God. I like God. I like gods too. And I do roll these notions and words and concepts around from multiple positions. And I realise that all of it's concepts in a monkey's brain. And yet, I still actually really think, and know actually, I think I know, and so that's all I'll say, because there's nothing else to say, if you know. We can only behold. I think apprehending the self in all its nuanced neurotic complexity, all its grieving for things that never could have been, loss. I think beholding a self or any idea of a mental frame of whoever we think we are or are supposed to be, or identity, I think they call it, don't they? I don't think there is actually one. I don't think we have an identity. And we certainly don't have a digital identity. It's not that I'm going all, there's no one here, oneness, nothing ever happened on you, like some of the meditation people do. It's that you can't really locate and control a play of light on waves. Which is what I'm equating self to be. It's a phenomena rather than a role or act. In so much as this is my James Robinson tonight, I met with the candle of my mother's ancestors. And even though I don't know who I am, I'm glad she lit the candle and she held that flame for me, and she nurtured me, and she adored me. As every baby should be adored. I'm just reflecting on what matters. What is the sacred? Sometimes I'm afraid we're losing ourselves as people. to madness, to loneliness, to ill health, to fake things. But knowing who, what, why and where and what's really going on is an important part of the story. Anyway, that's the part of the James Robinson artist bit that isn't just him making work, it's trying to place himself in a context of a culture. You got to understand, both my parents were pretty damaged people, probably from lines of pretty damaged people, right? And I've got a bit of a theory that artists become kind of trauma clearinghouses for the ancestors. Trauma clearinghouses. Like, was I born to lift other people's shit? You know, was I born to hear stories of ghosts and incant those epics? I mean, it would appear so. That's what, you know, I've spent my working career scribing someone's story. And in that regard, like, there's a couple of ways to regard the notion of artist these days, and I think it's pretty noble and functional, right? You could to get rid of the ego, to get rid of the self, to get rid of, you know, vanity and status, to act as a conduit for your ancestors, to act as a scribe for the divine coming through your line. Yeah? And possibly even the divine in you, son. So I know, yeah, okay, yeah, and we're getting into delusional territory and all that, but, you know, this is the realm of psychic exploration and cultural art, and those two things are indivisible, right? So, you know, the boundaries between a cult and a culture, well, hey, who decides that? And, you know, the boundaries between someone's, you know, mentally unwell person and another person's self-aware genius is completely arbitrary. It depends what software program you've got installed in your, you know, in your mainframe, your inheritance. I had a pretty loose inheritance, like a lot of Kiwi kids had a pretty loose inheritance of, well, you know, liberal, working class, post-Catholic. Back when it was totally free-for-all, falling apart, but still pretty healthy. Now, you got all the falling apart bits now rotting. And you've got flies on the rotting bits. And the flies are probably called AI. They're probably called WhatsApp. They're probably called Facebook, right? Beelzebub. I heard. How long is this gone for now? I am raving. Okay, I better stop there on Beelzebub. I just think there's something supernaturally weird about our civilization, and I wouldn't actually mind a complete fucking collapse, eh? You know, it's not that I'm anti-progress, but I'm certainly don't think that civilization has done anyone any good. And yeah, you know, if we stop getting petrol, fucking alright by me. You know, let's have a wee reset, eh? What really matters? Start breeding horses a bit more. I think real development is inner psychic and moral development. I think real development is quality of language, thought, action, deed, and the recording and transmission of that over generations. That's progress, is continuity within a living system and reverence for the Creator. So bring it on. Bring on the fucking collapse. I think that's fine. We're holding on to a bunch of shit anyway. We need to grow the fuck up.